On the news tonight, appeal court upholds David Umahi's Ebonyi South senatorial candidacy. PDP clears air on alleged bribe, says 122.4 million naira returned by NWC members was housing allowance. And President Buhari taxed African leaders on political cooperation. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. A court of appeal in Abuja set aside an appeal by Princess Anne Agomeze challenging the emergence of Governor Umahi as the Ebonyi South Senatorial Zone candidate following a primary election which held in July 30, 2022. The Federal High Court sitting in Abakaliki had in August recognized Agomeze as the senatorial candidate for the zone. However, the Court of Appeal in its judgment today set aside the High Court's decision and all its orders. The Appellate Court also held that the High Court was wrong when it upheld Anne's counter affidavit and failed to uphold the primary election of 9th June 2022. Where Governor Umahi was nominated as the APC senatorial candidate, as the nomination was never challenged by anyone within 14 days as prescribed by Section 285, subsection 9 of the 1999 Constitution. The court in Abuja proceeded to grant all the relief sought by Governor Umahi and the APC in the trial court. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has confirmed the payment of money to some members of its National Working Committee. The statement is in reaction to the refund of over 120 million naira by 4 members of the NWC. They said it became necessary to return the money after a backlash from the media accusing them of taking bribes. In a statement on Friday, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Debo Ologunagba, described reports about the money in some sections of the media as unfounded. The PDP chieftain explained that the housing allowance being referred to went through the due process of the party in line with the conditions of service and entitlement of the staff and principal officers of the party. Well, to speak more on this development, political affairs analyst Charles Sidell joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Now, the party spokesperson has explained that the money is for housing allowance, though public opinion believe otherwise. But what do you make of all of this?
Well, I think it's very messy. It's very messy. That's by my own estimation that this is quite messy that a party, not in government, we're party in government, we're having so much money to throw around. Not easy. And on the one hand, you have university teachers who have been off campus, and they are having this industrial dispute with government, and government doesn't seem to be doing anything that will bring about a resolution of that dispute. Yet you are hearing that party members, that National Working Committee, the committee member of the party, you are looking at, they are receiving such humongous amount of money as well as housing allowance. But the question is, don't these people have their own houses? Are they housed in government properties that you have to be paying them housing allowances? They are just party members. Yes, they do have positions within the upper echelons of the party. But I think, as I said earlier, I think it's quite messy. And it's inexplicable that party members are giving so much money to pay for their housing allowances. When you have poverty everywhere, poverty selling to, the case of everybody, so many people. As we speak, you and I are here today. There are many people who are not eating breakfast or not eating lunch. They don't even know when the next meal will come. And we are hearing this issue of paying hundreds of millions of naira to party members who have no positions in government, and they say it is for housing allowances. And the PDP spokesperson, somebody I know, is even telling you, we're not as if it's nothing, we should not worry about it. But I think it's messy, and if APC continues like this, Nigerians should look at them critically, examine them if indeed they actually deserve the renewal of their mandate in power, gradually.
Well, political affairs analyst Charles Idel, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. President Muhammadu Buhari says the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA) will succeed if African governments demonstrate a high level of commitment to tackle the slow pace of physical integration, political cooperation and tariff barriers that inhibit business integration. Addressing the second edition of African Sub-Sovereign Governments Network Conference on Friday in Abuja, the president decried the low-level trade among African countries. He acknowledged that the initiative was aimed at firmly establishing and deepening intra-continental trade investment development frontier for Africa. Well, our correspondent Simisola Adigun tells us more in this report.
It's been 4 years since the African Continental Free Trade Area was brokered to foster economic growth and prosperity among 44 member nations. But sadly, little has been achieved so far. To this end, President Muhammadu Buhari says the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA) will only succeed if African governments demonstrate a higher level of commitment to tackle the slow pace of fiscal integration, political cooperation, and tariff barriers that inhibit business integration.
I am firmly convinced that with the right collaborative action, we will be able to record a much stronger pace of transformation. Through shared knowledge, innovation, and creativity, we will be better able to cater for the needs of the African continent's population of over 1.4 billion people.
In their remarks, Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeniyi Adebayo, welcomed the need for deliberate action to remedy the continued reliance of Africa on external trade partners, adding that the AfTA provides the platform to do that.
We're at the starting block because intra-African trade is still an infinitesimal part of the total African trade. Working closely with our own federal government in Nigeria, we are collaboratively initiating and implementing strategic policies to better position Nigeria for the AfTA by strengthening our entire export value chain, eliminating barriers to the ease of doing business, enhancing infrastructure development, embracing anti-dumping and anti-discriminatory trade policies.
We are at the threshold of not only concluding phase 1 of the African CFTA negotiations of the protocols of trade in goods and trade in services, but also the full launch of real commercially meaningful trading under the agreement. This conference, therefore, is a unique opportunity for us to take stock and reflect on how best to assist our citizens in realizing the full benefits of the African CFTA.
On his part, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors, Afrexim Bank, Benedict Orama, said the bank had disbursed over $20 billion in the 5 years of support of intra-African trade and is on the way to double this to $40 billion in the next 5 years.
For the foregoing, it is clear to us why we must put our hands together to ensure the success of the AFCFTA. And that's why Afrexim Bank is doing its bit to make sure that this happens. We've disbursed over $20 billion in the past 5 years to support intra-African trade. And we plan to do $40 billion in the next 5 years.
African Sub-Sovereign Governments Network, AFSNet, is expected to boost intra-African trade, investment, industrialization, and development between state and regional governors. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News.
Our Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says the Green Chamber will seek an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari on the resolution of the ongoing face-off between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. According to the Speaker, the leadership in the next couple of days will put up a report of its interactions with key stakeholders in the dispute and come up with recommendations that will enable the President to view the issues at stake from an informed second opinion. The Speaker also appealed to both sides to give in and make concessions from their initial demands.
In my opinion, what we need to do, therefore, is to sit down with us. If they want it this way, I think we are fine. Let us sit down and know what these issues are. What problem do they have with IPPS? I'm not saying there are no problems. So let's see them sit down and address them inside IPPS. They complained that when this thing was done before, they were not involved. That's what they said. So here we are now in 2022. I think we can begin now to correct whatever mistake we made whenever it was.
We are vehemently opposed to multiple applications because all that it will do is, worsen our already bad fiscal situation.
So what the Office of the Head of Service is doing is actually protecting the university system. If they don't want Office of the Head of Service to give waivers and all, then let them, like the Minister of Labour said, let them go completely autonomous.
What you did at Risk Committee is still negotiation in progress. But when you go out now and say it's an agreement to be signed by government, nobody will agree. I will not agree because it didn't pass through the due process.
I'm hoping that with whatever we have done, ASU will at least, this is an independent arm of government, accept in good faith. And hopefully government too will accept in good faith so that our children can go back to school. And that's what this is all about. Again, let me repeat, we're running a government. Nobody, no individual, no group, whether you're legislature, judiciary, or whatever, can be above government or above the law.
To deepen the relationship between African countries and the Republic of China, the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, has organized a conference with the theme partnering with China to build Africa's digital economy. The program, hosted by Afri-China Media Center, had Nigerian and Chinese stakeholders in attendance. The Consular General of the Chinese Consulate, Chu Miaomin, who spoke at the event, said that China will explore broader cooperation with Africa in new business forms such as digital economy, adding that the country will promote digital inclusiveness to benefit the wider African public. Also speaking at the event, the Executive Director of the Afri-China Media Center, Ikena Emewu, said the partnership will create job opportunities for Nigerians.
As a Consul General, I'm very happy to see many Chinese brands has come to Nigeria. Particularly, you mentioned GAC. I remember in 2019, the governor of Lagos State visited China. He went to the GAC headquarters and he signed some kind of MOU with the president of that company. They are going to build a plant, assembly plant here in Lagos. I know it is under discussion, and I know that in the very near future, the plant will be in operation. China is open, and China welcomes Nigerian people to visit China, and my consulate is open for visa application. And we have a China Visa Center, which is now in Lekki Phase 1. And you are welcome to go there to process the visa application.
This summit is essentially on digital economy. The need for Africa to partner China to build its digital economy. Yes, as per readiness, Nigeria, for instance, is ready, very ready. What's our readiness? We have the manpower. So we are building the policy aspect. We have the human capacity aspect. What we need now is to integrate the application and implementation of the policy with the human capacity we already have on ground.
It's something that is worthwhile. That is something that's going to be mutually beneficial. And in any case, like I said, you find out that it has created jobs for some people. For instance, people are actually, I would call it mini banking, where they use the POS. So you can go to a POS vendor to withdraw money. You pay maybe some form of interest. The truth is that we need to key in. We are heading towards the fourth industrial revolution. And the fourth industrial revolution cannot be without ICT.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Ibrahim Gusau elected as new NFF president. Details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. A court of appeal in Abuja has affirmed David Umahi, Ebonyi governor, as a validly elected candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for the Ebonyi South senatorial election. And Agomeze had challenged Umahi's emergence as an APC candidate for the senatorial district. We also told you that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has confirmed the payment of money to some members of its National Working Committee. The statement is in reaction to the refund of over 120 million naira by 4 members of the NWC. The National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Debo Ologunagba, described reports about the money in some sections of the media as unfounded. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Multiple failures by the UK's National Health Telephone Advice Service early in the pandemic left COVID-19 patients struggling to get care and led directly to some people dying. An investigation has found the Healthcare Safety Investigation Branch identified a series of weaknesses with the helpline, including misjudgment of how seriously ill some people with COVID-19 were, a failure to tell some people to seek urgent help, and a lack of capacity to deal with a sudden spike in calls. But we'll take a breather here and return with more stories in business. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Mary Kano joins us now for more stories in business. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Folashade. Hello, welcome to Business News. The federal government will continue to support micro, small and medium enterprises operating in the country and hopes incoming governments will equally make this a top priority. This was one of the decisions taken as Vice President Yemi Osinbajo met with partners in the micro, small and medium enterprises clinics and commended them for their cooperation in the implementation of the program. The MSME Clinic is a program aimed at providing necessary assistance to operators by tackling and preferring solutions as a one-stop shop.
The federal government will continue, to find effective ways to scale up its contribution and support to the MSMEs, and also ensuring that whatever constraints, exist in that space, that the government will be continuously abreast of trying to find effective solutions to confront the challenges.
Anybody doing business in Nigeria today will tell you that there are many hurdles they have to cross. For the small businesses, it's not only a matter of capital, because sometimes they also need to have the training, how to use the money, how to keep the books, how to go about your business, how to treat your staff. But they also have other things they have to contend with. The cost of power, and they complain of multiple taxation. Some of them, they have problems getting the CFOs signed on time by the governors, which will delay them getting facilities from the banks. And then, because most of the things the banks are asking for, they don't have it, they now have to resort to getting money from money lenders. And these guys charge between 5 to 7% flat per month.
Basically, from now, we are going to have more commissioning of shared facilities and MSME clinics, the states that we have not been to. We've been to 30, and he's been to 30 states. So there are about 6 more states. So those states is still going to go to those states. Outstanding shared facilities that have not been commissioned will be commissioned. Some states have come to ask for one-stop shops. We'll try and help with that. We want to do as best as we can to ensure that we leave the space, that we achieve most of our targets before the administration winds down.
Well, we'll take a break now and return with stock market review. The total market value of the NGX gained 5 billion naira as we see the all-share index rise to 49,024 basis points, which translates to a 0.12% gain at the close of today's trading. Now the gains reflect in the market summary as today's data shows 62% improvement in volume, 66% improvement in value and 4% improvement in deals. Today's gains can be largely attributed to the consumer goods and healthcare sector as we see RT Briscoe and Mayor Baker gained combined 4 naira 34 kobo to give the market its well-deserved gains. Well, we've seen 3 days of gains and 2 days of losses this week, and we can say what a positive way to close trading for the month of September. We hope the gains can be replicated in the month of October. Let's switch now to some select global stocks. Now, the global stock market had a promising start to the quarter, but fears about inflation, rate hikes, rising bond yields and recession has plunged the market into low levels. In the US and Asia, stocks are bearish at 0.39% and 1.83%. Well, that's the stock market report. For Leshadi, over to you.
Well, many thanks, Mary. And on the foreign scene, the Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to stage a ceremony in an ornate Kremlin hall to announce Russia's rule over around 15% of Ukraine, the biggest European annexation since World War II. Putin disclosed that the 4 Ukrainian regions would remain Russian forever. The annexation is coming on the heels of referendums which the West countries have slammed as illegal. However, Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president, has hit out at the move, saying that Putin wanted a war more than life. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Comedian and host of Daily Show, Trevor Noah, has revealed plans to exit the flagship Comedy Central series after a 7-year tenure. Noah revealed his plans to an audience at Thursday evening's taping of the program in New York. The comedian, who took over the program under intense scrutiny, said he loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh, even when the stories are particularly silly on the worst days. It was not immediately clear when his actual exit will take place or whether the Paramount Global Cable Network had begun to consider a successor. Nollywood actress Halima Abubakar has reacted to the legal suit filed against her by Apostle Johnson Suleiman. Suleiman, in the suit filed by his lawyer, accused Halima of defamation, blackmail, and publishing demeaning statements about him. Halima, who is battling an unknown ailment, also accused him of feeding bloggers negative stories about her. Recall that the duo had been at loggerheads after the actress alleged that she was in a romantic relationship with the cleric. She admitted that she had an affair with the preacher because he told her he was divorced with 3 children. Reacting on her Instagram page, Halima said she will meet him in court. And that's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment and now to sport, Ibrahim Gusau has been elected as the new president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF. The Zamfara-born football administrator defeated 9 other contestants to emerge as the successor of Amaju Pinnick. He gathered 39 out of 40 votes in a rerun election after all the candidates had initially failed to meet with a 22-vote requirement. Well, Jide Olaniran, sports analyst, joins me now to talk more on this. Now, thank you as always for joining us. Finally, NFF has a new chairman. Now, quickly tell us, what are the challenges before him?
Thank you very much, Folashade. Yeah. The challenge is that he will need to reconcile all the warring factions. Don't forget that just before, this time yesterday, people were not still sure whether the election would go on. But thanks to the last minute injunction, they were able to secure, that's talking about the Nigerian Football Federation now, they were able to secure last minute injunction at the Court of Appeal that gave an all clear to the election that we just witnessed today. That shows that the House is in serious turmoil. And we will, one of the things that the new president will have to do is reconcile all the warring factions. There are complaints that people, most of the state stakeholders, or the genuine stakeholders are really excluded from the day-to-day running of football in the country. And this is one of the things he will have to do. Aside that, one other thing that I feel that he will also have to do is the youth development. Nigeria has not really done very well in the last, we talked to them the last 8 years and of the last tenure in youth football, because Nigeria used to be a very strong, a household name when you talk about youth competition, but it seems that there is a blockage in the factory line of talking about talent development now. So this is one area that you will have to also look at. Female football is another one, or they call it women football. Women football, Nigeria used to be a powerhouse, but what has happened in recent time has shown that what the women football aspect of Nigeria has recorded has shown that it's not just a blip. It's shown that we have, as a nation, we have gone seriously under the radar, because if we are beginning to struggle against the likes of South Africa, Zambia, Ghana, Cameroon, that shows that we really need to put our house in order. We need to up our game. So there needs to really be, all hands needs to be on deck, look at the women football, and also the level of transparency is questionable. I think they will need to also work to get the confidence or gain the confidence of the private sector. You know that football needs money, and for you to get money out of this private sector, you need to show some level of transparency. And I feel that these are some of the areas I feel that this new administration or the new dispensation will be looking at going forward.
But definitely, the new NFF president definitely has his job cut out for him. But Jide Olaniro, sports analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. And that's a wrap on our news bulletin tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.